Hello, everyone. It's Sam Ridgway and Cameron Sykes, our resident guru. Another episode of Tales from the Crypto. And the market took a little bit of a beating over the recent past, but even though everybody's getting their asses handed to them, I want to come in and just get a few picks. Like SNX, that's one of yours. That's up 20%. AVAX is up 21.5%. Luna is up about 21%. So, I mean, even though the whole market's getting hammered, we actually have some coins that are actually doing well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, on our first episode, we actually recommended Quan. So if you bought it after our first episode at 85, you would have hit it would have hit $428 just a couple of days ago. So you'd have a pretty insane return on there, and overall, you'd be doing pretty good, even with the crash.
That's crazy. And we did go buy Quan later. We didn't get it at the $80 something. I mean, you had recommended it, but I'm just going through buying all these coins. So I was just kind of picking and choosing. I'm like, okay, something at $85, something as opposed to a couple of bucks. And
Oh
of
yeah,
course, that's one of the lessons we need to teach people here. Just because a coin is expensive doesn't mean you're not going to get as much. We would have gotten so much more money off of Quan buying it at $85 than we would at something like even Luna, right? I mean, we
oh
would
yeah,
have been. So don't think that if something's expensive, you shouldn't buy it, because again, it's the percentage that's going up. If it goes up 50%, you've made 50% of your money, regardless of whether it costs $85 or whether it costs a buck 50.
exactly.
So that's a good lesson. So anyway, I'm just going to turn this over to you and go ahead and teach a wise one.
All righty, perfect. Well, hey, we got some good ones for you today. The first one is Covalent, and their ticker symbol's CQT, and you can get them on crypto.com. They're trading for around a buck 45 right now, and they're actually really cool. They're kind of similar to almost like a Google for blockchain. And essentially, what they do is they leverage big data technologies, and they create meaning from hundreds of billions of data points that leverage delivering actionable insights to investors and allowing developers to allocate resources to higher utility goals within an organization. So what are the use cases for that? So like, where could that be applicable? So like, what the first big one is going to be taxes. And so every single like decentralized finance action is a taxable event. And so being able to have access to this data helps firms be compliant. So if a trader uses Coinbase, they can quickly download a CSV of their trade data. Besides Covalent, there's no such thing for a decentralized exchange like that on Uniswap or SushiSwap. So that's a really big one. But the big thing right now is through NFTs. So as NFTs are becoming more and more popular over the last couple of months, it's become way more important for NFT projects to be able to provide a means of analysis. And so Covalent has become the leading NFT data provider. And like NFT projects like Chain Guardians and Ethereum, like are now using Covalent's API to like not only just power novel features within the specific like each product, but they're also doing it to improve the user experience.
Right. And I think maybe just a quick explanation of NFTs, because NFTs are cool. Like, I mean, these things are going, first of all, that some of them are going for ridiculous amounts of money.
Oh,
But I mean, I mean, if I understand it correctly, like if somebody in, let's say, the NBA were to do a crazy play, like the NBA could sell that portion of that shot, what happened, and you could own somebody do whatever it was
yeah.
that they were doing. You could actually own that. Like that is yours to use. You own it, that entire play. Or it could be art. Like my wife, she loves painting. You do too. I mean,
Yeah.
you're artistic as well, and you could
I
create
just
your own.
for sale on OpenSea right now if you want to get them. So yeah, no, I love it. And I think
Yeah.
there's being
So it's a
able to,
way to own things, digital images of things, and you actually own that. Like that is yours. Like as if you had the whole thing in your hand. So this opens up an entirely new like possibility or opportunity for artists.
and another interesting case for this is actually within DAOs. And so like DAOs are kind of like the future of like the workplace. And so right now, like most people work for a company. In the future, I think people might be working for DAOs, which are like companies, but decentralized. And so basically those require reliable and real-time data for making informed decisions. And so basically what they do, it's no surprise that like individuals can use like Covalent's API to view and examine proposals and interactions so that one can like understand how active members are and like creating proposals and voting on them as well. as the members voted for it against the proposals in general. Basically, they just drag data from fucking all over the internet and all across the multiple blockchains and aggregate it into one area, into where you can go and disseminate through that and more or less do stuff based on the data that you're able to gather. And so that's going to be really huge. It's essentially like the Google for blockchain, and we're really excited about it. We see some big investors talking about they're in right now and they're not going to sell until it has like a $1 billion market cap. Right now, the market cap's around 65 million, which would put their selling target on this at around $20 a share, and was trading around 145. I think that's going to be a potential for a really good return right there. The next one we're going to talk about, which is Boson Protocol, and the ticker symbol's Boson, and that's BOSON, and you can get that on crypto.com. It's trading for about $1.21 right now. And so their goal is basically like, if Covalent is the Google, going to be the Google of blockchain, Boson would be the Amazon of it. And I'll tell you why. So their goal is to basically enable commerce between buyers and sellers that doesn't require an intermediaries like Amazon. So they're beginning with the metaverse commerce by creating the infrastructure, so decentralized stores in places like Decentraland, which is like a really popular game, just fully immersive game that they have the actual mana token, which is another coin we're probably going to talk about in a couple of weeks.
Give me an example of an NFT. An NFT is non-fungible token. That's what it stands for. But give me an example of how you might play a game, and I mean, like you find you have some money and you can go to this thing and buy a better sword. I mean, how would it work in a real world experience?
So within this example, NFTs are essentially used as the mechanism where it's essentially a smart contract that obligates the buyer to like basically be able to receive a gift or like an object or utility or service from the person selling that. And so the way that works is like within Decentraland, it's basically this fully immersive world, and where people are actually like actual big investors are going in there and spending millions and millions of dollars to buy plots of virtual land to develop it and build like essentially commercial properties within where players in the game can go and interact with each other. Like a big fund, I think just last week, spent $10 million to buy this gigantic plot of land in Decentraland, and they're planning on developing it and building stores, and people are actually interacting within these virtual worlds within the metaverse using Decentraland's like a native token, which is the mana. And so essentially with this, what Boson's going to do, it can bridge the gap into where people within these virtual worlds are going to be able to buy actual assets in the real world, and vice versa.
You buy a house?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to buy a house in the real world.
Ultimately, that's what they're pushing for. So right now, it's easier to go buy this stuff within these worlds, but right now, within that world, you can be able to use that stuff to go buy stuff in the real world. And the way you do that through Boson Protocol are basically these NFT contracts that they're designed to facilitate it.
Crazy. Well, Cameron, you're doing great with the picks. Obviously, not everything is up, but again, the market took a pretty good hit recently, and the fact that we have coins that are up in the 20%, 21% group is just absolutely amazing. So again, all of you out there, buy these things and hold these things. These things are going to go up in value. This isn't something you have to buy and sell and watch. Buy it, sit it there, and in the long term, theoretically, hopefully, it's going to go up far more than you could ever get out of a bank or anywhere else you could put your money.
Absolutely. And I think, but we had a kind of a rough week with a little flash crash, but I feel like this time next week, and especially this time next month, we're going to be having an entirely different tune here. And this time next week, our fund could be up 50% for all we know. And
these are buying opportunities too, right? Like when it comes down and then flash crash, and you get something like it comes back down by 40%. Let's say it took a 30-40% hit. Okay, you buy a little bit more of it.
Yeah, dollar cost average lowers your cost basis and makes it easier for you to hit your actual returns. And honestly, just right now, I'd be buying up Luna on the cheap, because September 30th, when they release their Columbus 5 mainnet upgrade, that thing's going to absolutely blow up. And I think that's going to be well over 100 by the end of the year.
Sounds great. All right, Cameron, again, appreciate everything that you do, from all the research to all the reading to all the rest of stuff, and just giving us these tokens, these opportunities that we can just hold and increase our net worth. So anyway, I appreciate it. We'll talk next Wednesday. Can't wait till like Luna just goes like through to the moon.
Oh, I can't. Counting down.
All right, brother. Talk to you later. All right, bye.